Hey, what's good?
Welcome, everybody. We're live. I know we came a couple of minutes late. This is a delayed, I know, it's a delayed Europa and Champions League review. Josh from Touchline Talks is here as always. Thanks for joining, Josh.
Always a pleasure.
A lot of things to unpack. We'll wait for a couple of minutes before we jump into it. I know you saw the Europa Final. I remember that for sure. We kind of talked about it offline. I did it. I think I was happy I did not. I didn't watch it. So
yeah, you lost. I mean, sorry, you saved yourself a night of headache, heart pain, everything, man, you could think of. You saved yourself a lot.
I saved myself a lot. Yeah. Hola, thanks for joining us. Hola. How's it going, sir?
What's up, guys?
Hey, what's good, man? Nice to officially see you live.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out what this is.
He's not on the group. This is Jake's socials. He has his own channel. He's a United fan, though.
Oh, cool, cool. Nice to meet you, Jake. Sorry, I thought you were in our Facebook group.
No, I just see the videos and stuff. So.
Cool.
The match reviews and all. So.
Yeah, you don't need to pay too much attention to Ola. It's just the ordinary Scouser. You know those guys that we don't care about.
Yeah, the ordinary Scousers are, the most successful team in England. We're just ordinary.
Oh, here we go.
Ordinary.
Wow.
End of podcast. Everybody see you later. Podcast is ended. Here we go again. Talking about history channel. I thought the history channel doesn't work anymore. The history channel doesn't work anymore, dude. Is this
the history channel? No, it's different. Yeah.
We don't need to go on history channel anymore. We still won the league last year, unlike some teams that have not won it for like 7 years. And when was the last time Man United won Champions League? I can't even remember. So long ago. Jeez.
Many times, Man United.
We're coming.
You're coming. Okay.
Are we expecting a few more people? Yeah.
Yeah, Dio's supposed to join. Yannicka cannot make it, so Dio will be our resident City fan. Idris is supposed to join. Chelsea also. So I think when Idris and Dio joins, we'll jump to Champions League. So, Josh, tell me how disappointing. Let's do Europa chat. Let's start Europa chat first. Tell me how disappointing that was.
Well, it was a weird one because people like myself. I think Ayo, you're probably part of this group of people. People like myself that are Ole out. I wasn't surprised. I wasn't expecting anything different. Obviously, going into that finals, we were optimistic that we could beat Villareal. Like, at the end of the day, we've struggled with certain teams during the season, but it's the Europa League finals. The team has worked hard to get there. So I thought, okay, give the team the benefit of the doubt. We can make it happen. And obviously, we start the game slow. And, we started seeing the usual stuff that we see all season, slow start. Villareal concede, and you're like, oh, what's going on? We get a lucky goal. Ole still doesn't change it. First of all, when I saw the McTominay and Pogba pivot, I knew it was going to be a long night. I messaged my United group and I said, McTominay and Pogba in the pivot, but I didn't want to be negative, right? Because it's give them a chance. It's a whole 90 minutes. And the game just went downhill. And what we've complained about Ole all season, the lack of subs, the lack of in-game management, tactical awareness, just literally no idea of what was going on. You saw Villareal making subs. They were making their how many subs did they have? It was 5 subs, right?
5.
That they could have, and then 6. The 6th sub if you went to extra time or overtime.
Correct.
And I think Villareal was making their 5th sub at the 80th minute, while Ole was still sitting on the bench, just smiling. And we're looking, and I could tell that all the fans, Manchester United fans around the world, and also Ola, you're probably thinking the same thing too. What the hell is this guy doing? But it wasn't a question that was surprising to those of us that have watched Manchester United all season. We knew that was going to happen. So when I saw 80th minute, still no sub, I knew we're losing that game. The momentum had left us, and I just knew. And at that, it got to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm happy for Villareal. They seem to be the only team that wants to win this game. And so, yeah, it was very disappointing to see. I thought it couldn't get worse with Ole in terms of his decision makings and stuff like that. But he just finds new ways to surprise you. You know what I mean? You would think in the finals, whereby it's the last game, just give it your all. And it pisses me off when he comes on the press conferences talking about the United way, the United DNA. Nothing about that finals showed me there was anything to do with the United way. Like Ferguson would never have sat there and just smiled while the other team was making changes, trying to do things to win the game. And we just sat there. And then our first sub came, I think it was 100th minute was when our first sub came. And then it was taking Greenwood off, who was our best attacking player at the time, for Fred. So it's like the same decision-making of when we need to win a game, he takes off an attacking player and puts on a defensive player. So it was basically everything that we had complained about all season summed up in one game, literally. So I'm just happy that the whole world has got to see, the fraud that Ole is, because that's what he is. You know what I mean? He's a fraud. He's basically that politician. You think about the politicians running for office. He says all the right things. He gets all the United fanatics all excited, but on the pitch, he doesn't show the United way. The question I want to ask people is, if Ferguson never made that sub for Teddy Sheringham and Ole in the 99 finals, would we have won that trophy? We wouldn't have. But the same person who made his heroics that night was not able to bring on a sub when it mattered in a European final. So to me, that's enough. I don't know any coach in this world that would have done what Ole did in that game and still have a job. So that was my take on the game.
Tell us how you really feel, Josh. Tell us how you really feel.
That was the final straw, man. That was the final straw.
That was the final straw. Okay. Let's welcome our other guest, Dayo, our resident Bayern fan. Thanks for joining.
Hi.
And Idris.
Hi, Dayo.
Is definitely
the new champion.
Chelsea day.
European champion.
Idris, you have your day.
Hey, Idris, you get your moment. Okay? You get your moment.
2 golden star, yeah. Idris was the only one that believed. I remember when we did the bracket. Idris was the only one that believed Chelsea was going to win. So kudos. I respect for your prediction and belief in your team, because I never thought Chelsea was going to do it. All of us were all confident. At least I was so confident that City was going to win that game. Dario, you're going to be a resident. Just so you know, you're going to be a resident City fan. Yannicka can't make it for whatever reason, So she texted me she can't make it. So you are going to be a resident City pep. But let's unpack. Let's give Europa 5-10 minutes. I know it's the smaller, it's the second division European tournament. Let's just give you some highlight before we go away from it. I think we have a couple of comments. Let me just read out, then I'll let Mr. Dayo. I said Mr. Dayo. I'll let Ola give his thoughts, because I assume you watched the game, right? You did watch the game.
Yep. I did. Yeah.
Okay. Someone says, nice ones. Thank you for the comments. Ola, you're wicked. I guess it's from our earlier chat about the shots we were taking at each other. Champions of Europe. I know that's definitely a Chelsea fan, obviously. We know. It's okay. Last season has ended.
Probably David.
This is a new season. Last season has ended. We don't care anymore.
We're gonna ride these wheels to the fall of Liverpool.
You're welcome to it. Please do, because it's not easy to be champions of Europe. It's not, seriously. Idris, congratulations. Before I go ahead, congratulations, man. You guys deserved it. You deserved it. Chelsea, Impressive. So okay, I'll just go to the Europa chat that Ayo wanted me to talk about. Well, for me, I'll play I'll do a bit of devil's advocate, pun intended. Ayo will know I've always had, I won't say soft spot for Solskjaer, but I've always thought the criticism of him is over the top. I don't know. I think generally I like to see if a coach is improving, if things are improving. I see some improvement, but I see what you guys are saying now. I also see the fact that Ayo has brought up the fact that Solskjaer does not, Ole does not seem to have an attacking blueprint. So United seem to struggle against low block teams that defend. And like Josh said, your goal in that final came by a fluke. It was just a fluky goal. It wasn't like you guys attacked in a systematic way. But I'll also caveat that all the best teams in the world, even with the best attacking plans, sometimes the best attacking plans don't work. Like Liverpool, we have a systematic way of attacking, but we went 6 games at home, scoring only 1 goal and losing 6 straight home games. So it happens. You might say, oh, okay, you're supposed to have an attacking plan. It's supposed to work this way. But even the best teams in the world, sometimes it just doesn't work. You might have all the pieces in place. The players are not finishing the chances. Look at Chelsea, for example. I just digress to Chelsea. They create chances, but they can't stick them away.
No. Werner cannot stick it.
Werner, okay, Werner.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I'm all right.
Werner does not stick away.
That championship arrogance. No.
So I'll just wrap up my point on the Europa. The game, I feel penalty shootout is like a lottery. It could have worked for you. I know Josh was saying Pogba, McTominay, Scott's midfield pivot. What I thought Ole was thinking was he wants to get his best attacking players in the starting 11 for that match so that you guys go overrun Villareal. So I understood what he was trying to do by putting Greenwood, Rashford, Cavani on the pitch at the same time to overrun Villareal. It just didn't work out. What was really bad was the lack of substitution. I couldn't believe it. How can you wait to 100 minutes before you make your first sub? Because, when United scored their goal, you guys were on a high. You were like pressuring them. It seemed the second goal was coming. But then that's how you know a class manager, a manager who knows what to do. Because Emre, to break up your momentum, he started making those changes very, very early. He saw that United had the momentum. So he took off Baka. So he went 4-5-1, like just to shut you guys' momentum down. And then Ole did not respond. So that's why I agree with you guys that, okay, he has his limitations. I still think some of the criticism of him is a bit over the top. You guys went away unbeaten in the league. I think many people just gloss over that. You are 26 games away from home unbeaten in the league. If that was Liverpool, I'll be shouting it almost every podcast. Like we went the whole season unbeaten away from home. It's how many teams have done it? Only 4 teams in the history of English top flight football have done that. Only 4 teams. So that's something that is commendable. I understand that United fans are angry at him. So I'll just wrap up and say, okay, well, if you guys, I've always said you can get a better manager. I think there are better managers out there. I just think it's the criticism of Ole sometimes to me feels over the top. So congratulations to Villareal. Yeah. They deserve it anyway. Yeah.
So as a United fan, even though I try to be neutral, but let me talk briefly about it. So I rewatched the game purposely because I know we're going to have to do a pod about it so I can talk from an educated standpoint because highlights, do not show how everything goes. So my opinion is, first of all, when I see the lineup, right, you go into a game, what's your plan B? Even if your plan B, so Solskjaer typically, his game is, I put the best players in their position, let them figure it out, right? And let them be unpredictable. That's kind of what his plan is, He's not a systems guy. We all know that. I've overflogged that issue so many times to a lot of people. He's not a systems guy, right? He's more about put the bet and let them figure it out. Okay. You know that this is a final. I assume he has prepared for Emre's team, right? He knows how they play. I assume they've done video analysis. What everybody does, right? Even like MLS coaches do that. Let's not talk of United. So they've done all of that. So if you've done all of that, why don't you keep one of your weapons back? Why do you start? That's the first thing. When I saw the lineup, I text somebody like, why is it starting everybody? Why don't you pull back Greenwood or Cavani? Don't throw everybody, don't do you want to overrun them. Okay. But if you throw everybody at once, you showed your hand, right? It's like a card game, a chess game. You showed all your hand. If it doesn't work, what then happens? What's your plan B? Because he knows typically Solskjaer has not trusted his bench at all, right? That's typically what he has been. Josh can attest that all season he's playing 14, 15. He has not trust. He doesn't trust his bench. So you know you don't trust your bench, but you show your hand quickly. Now you showed your hand. The game has turned. What do? That's why he couldn't make a sub because he showed his hand. Like, oh, I've showed everybody. So why not pull in the first? Just pull somebody back. Either you bench Good or Cavani, or you bench Rashford. Have one person you can bring on when you want to change the game. You don't show oil. Just start everybody all at once. So that's the first thing I saw. Then we're just watching the game, like Josh said. When the momentum was swinging, you could see Emery. So I'm going to use this approach and actually praise Emery because Emery has beaten a team that has far more resources. Let's get this clear. Villareal finished 7th in the league. About finishing 7th, they even punched above their weights, resources-wise. Villareal's budget is 1/5 of Manchester United's budget. The whole value of Villareal's squad is less than the amount we bought Harry Maguire.
Yep.
That's the buying value of all of them. So that just to make it clear of what Emery did. So you have to give a lot of credit. Emery had a plan, and his plan was just very, very simple. I'm going to compress the space, close all the gaps. Bruno is not going to get into Pogba. Where they play, compress all the gaps. And every time we try to, everybody knows, Man United attacks to the left. It was just moving the defense to the left. I just forgot about the right thing. Wan-Bissaka, we get the ball. You're not going to hurt us. This is where the problem is. We're going to close all the gaps, and we're going to swing to the left. And that's what they did. And that's why you could see Emery immediately the injuries. Oh, sorry, their fullbacks got tired. Those were the first thing he brought in new fullbacks. It's like, nah, this is where they're going to hurt us. We're not going to give them that space. So you have to give Emery a lot of credit. The way he come and break us down because he knows that's our problem. Low block, no spaces in between the lines. Come and break us down. Like you can't. There's not going to be space behind. There's not going to be space in between. So come and break us down. We're going to give you all length, and that is why one of the reasons why McTominay had a good game. It was. I keep telling you, it was on purpose. It wasn't like McTominay was. It was on purpose. They let the players that can hurt them less have the ball. McTominay, you run. If you get to a particular point, we'll close the gaps. Pogba, Bruno, Shaw, Rashford, you guys are not hurting us. We're going to compress the space. And that's what Emery did. And I give him no credit because I think it took too much stick, from his time in Arsenal. This is 4th Europa Cup win. He shows not a fluke. And he did what he needed to do. Regarding Solskjaer, I've always been in between. Just like you said, there are better managers out there that we can get for him. He's done a good job progressing the team, obviously, in the league. But his record in cup competitions is not acceptable at this point, right? We have by far had the best squad from when I think from when Spurs got knocked out. We had by far the best squad left in Europe, and we should have won it. Like there's no excuses. We should have won it. We had a fully fit squad. I'm not going to listen to the excuse of Harry Maguire. I'm not listening to that. Harry Maguire was in our team when it's conceding 6 goals, when we're getting knocked out by Leipzig. I'm like, nah, that's just excuses. He was there. He's a good defender, and he became better. I understand when you say you miss somebody. It's like the thing people were doing with Ramsey in Arsenal all these years. A player has the best value when he's not playing. Yes, Harry Maguire is good, but Harry Maguire is not rock solid. Before he was there, we've conceded so many goals, 3 goals, 4 goals in like single games. So that Harry Maguire excuse is like, I think it's moot. It's very moot. So it's one of those things where I didn't personally care. I said it. I don't really care about Europa. I was saying to everybody, you just know who are texting. I don't care if we win or I don't personally care. And the reason why I didn't care was because we should have not been there.
Yeah, we should have been like Idris's team in the finals.
Now that you are there, I understand.
Now, can I chime in a little bit to your?
Now that I understand that you have to win it, and we didn't win it. So let's go. Let's move on. Champions League.
I think Idris said he had a point. Europa. He wanted to chime in on that.
Oh yeah, Idris. Let's wrap. Idris, you wrap us up for Europa.
Oh, with Europa, yeah. From what I watched in that game, you hit the nail on the head on a few things. So it was like the coach, he was out coached. Now, you were saying something about like low blocks, and I will just throw it back to the guys and ask, like, I find out like many Premier League teams actually suffer with low block teams. I think Pep was able to figure it out a little bit, but then depends on who he meets, right? Before that, we've seen low block teams steal points from Man City. The person that has done well with low block teams is Tuchel with Chelsea. So I don't know. Like, is it that like United? Well, how do I shape this question to make it more articulate? It's more like Ole doesn't have a plan B. You are the best squad, and was he outmanaged by Emre? I guess if you say that, because United missed a lot of chances too, right? Like, if we were to be very fair and honest, like there was a lot of like missed chances, and if say we counted those,
You missed
like
no chances, huh?
No, we only had like
No,
two
we didn't
chances.
see
No,
that.
we only had two shots on goal.
Yeah.
No, we only had two shots. We didn't have zero crosses in the box. Like, it was poor.
Yeah, no.
It was absolutely
Yeah, it was poor.
Like,
Alpha was a very poor
Villareal
final.
could have
We
won
missed
that
a lot of
game
chances.
in
I
90
felt
minutes.
I felt watching a different game, but then okay.
But
then,
that's the
like,
thing with United, because we huff and puff, because we keep passing it sideways. So it seems like we're doing something. But Cavani was struggling. But
The
sorry,
only
I
clear
want
chance
you
we
to
missed
finish your
was
point. I
offside.
wanted you to finish your point. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh no, but you're right. You're right. I'm good.
Yeah,
I thought I saw a different dynamic. Yeah, Dio, go for
Yeah.
it. I thought I saw some.
Okay, the thing is,
some
I don't buy this having a plan B, because football fans usually throw that in the throw it to club,
Okay.
throw it to Pep, throw it to everybody. You don't have a plan B. Most top coaches don't have a plan B. They die on their plan A. That's it. That's a period. That we've seen it with Pep, we've seen it with Klopp, we've seen it with everybody. They have a well-oiled plan A, and they keep oiling that plan A until it dies, and they die on that. That's what they all do. Mourinho will come to a top game, same plan. Conte, same plan. Everybody, they either win with it or lose with it. But what I think about Ole is he doesn't have a well coordinated attacking plan. That is just the point. He doesn't have a coordinated attacking plan. He doesn't. Okay, Ole, we are going to meet a lower side today. How do you smash them? Pep has his way. We'll pass around them. Klopp has his way. We will gegen press them. Ole just like, okay, well, we'll freestyle. Fernandez, whatever, do something. Pogba, do something. Just do something. Make something happen. He doesn't, with Pep, you can see that Pep can take out De Bruyne, take out some key guys. Even if he brings his youth team players, they still play towards a kind of pattern. They might not get it fully. They might, because of their level of their skill, they might not get it fully. But you still see, even
There's
in all
still
this
consistency, yeah.
early Carabao Cup, where you see in Mecha, Lucas and Mecha, and all those Adarabi or your guys playing, you still see they try to hold the ball. When Klopp puts his own club babes in, you see them try to gegen press. But Ole just doesn't have it. And I'll just say this: I'm not a United fan, and so I'm saying the context of not being a United fan. I'm grateful that you have Ole as coach. The thing is, United is a rich club.
I can kick you out of this stream. I have the power. It's just one click, and you're out of this stream.
United is a rich club. You shouldn't have money and have a good coach at the same time. It will not be fair to others. See what
I still was talking.
Look,
The Bayern Munich fan is talking.
that's nature's way.
I know.
That's nature's way of equalizing things a little bit. Like you can. You can't. Only is just is the way it's gonna be fair to everybody. Imagine Man U having Tuchel, having Klopp, having Pep as their coach. Everybody will just till next season. We just Bundesliga the whole shit out of everybody. but
Dio, you are the real MVP.
We don't drink too much.
That's the truth. But
will let weather rest. Idris, they're telling you, please leave me alone.
We'll come to Ghana later.
Fair point.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I just
let's-
wanted to add one last thing. Apart football aside, let's talk about, let's say, whatever you want to say about all his tactics or in-game management is whatever. What really, like, the point, it was crazy that night, because it's like, what message are you sending to the squad? When you look at someone like Rashford, had the most, like, that game was so awful. Like, he had the worst game of his career, and he still couldn't get subbed off. It really kind of, it's like, you look at it as a whole, and this is sportsmanship. Let's talk about what the sport stands for. Teamwork, sportsmanship. You know what I
I'm
mean?
about to-
Giving
I'm
people
about to
fair
bu-
chances. Sorry?
Sir, I'm about to bust your bubble. Come to Chelsea and see Werner play, man. Miss 24 goals and you will still start that game.
No. That's different.
Jorginho
Remember,
will
I said
pass
that,
sideways
Idris, I
from
said that
now
on the
till
last
next
chat.
year. Jorginho
I
will
said it on the
start.
last chat. You guys need Werner is actually so instrumental to your team because of his movement. He creates spaces for the other players. Yes, he doesn't finish, but he's so like he's. I think he was very essential to Chelsea's play this season.
Okay, we'll get to Chelsea. I will wait.
Yeah,
I'll
we'll
wait
get to it. But for me, it was just kind of like I just said to myself, if I were on that bench that night, the next morning I would have basically called my agent and just said, you know what, get me out of this club. Because what's the point? What's the point of being on the bench? It doesn't matter if you have a good game. Like, it just doesn't matter. Like, this coach is not going to give you that chance. Like, there's no reason why Rashford could have been on that field for 120 minutes. Like, he was piss poor. You know, and like, where other players are looking and say, okay, when am I ever going to get a chance to play? So for me, that's the part that really it just doesn't sit well with me with Ole. It's not, I don't care about his game management. That's one thing, but the treatment of other players. And it's like, where's this man management we keep talking about?
But
there's no man management.
Every top coach. Sorry, Josh, but that's not something that's unique to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Every top coach have their favorites. They have players they will sub off even when they are horrible. We have had players that are in Liverpool where we'll be like, this guy's playing nonsense. Why is Klopp not taking this person out? And this person will be playing 90 minutes. We have players even before Klopp. You know, I'm not.
Okay, but does Klopp go a whole season?
He should have made changes. I'm not disputing the fact that he should have made changes. But I think as fans,
the whole season and only play 13 players the whole season.
Who didn't Pep do that?
Klopp could have done that. It was just injuries that forced his hand. I'm sure when you the last season or 2 seasons ago, Klopp didn't play more than like 13 or 15 players.
We played only like 15 players consistently last season because we didn't have many injuries. You know, there's some players that play 90 minutes every game, whether they're playing good or bad. Bobby Firmino, that all of you guys banter for being a defensive striker. He played 90 minutes for almost so many games. And we'll be like, why can't Klopp just sub this guy off? So it's not unique to Solskjaer. I understand what you mean, that you're saying, okay, he should have made changes. Rashford, to my understanding, Rashford has been carrying an injury. Yeah, he has had he's been managing an injury, so maybe he should have been subbed. But I'm just saying that it's not unique to a coach to like one player and not sub him off, because that's what some coaches do. They just have players that will play 90 minutes, whether it's good, whether they're playing well or not. They'll play 90 minutes or play 120 minutes. It's not unique to Solskjaer. For me, I think Donny van de Beek should have played. There's no excuse for that. He should have brought Donny on to play in that final. I think he didn't play at all. He didn't play 1 minute. That's a big money signing, and you didn't play him for 1 minute in a final, 120 minutes.
So
no excuse. No excuse for that.
We're going to have a United-based review. We're going to have like a lot of guys. We're going to break down a lot of things. That like one of the things, squad management, the mismanagement of Donny van de Beek is where my biggest criticism lies for Solskjaer this season. Like that's where my biggest criticism lies. Those two things. Let's move on. I know Jola wants to join, and we'll let him join. But let's move on to Champions League. We can circle back to this when Jola joins. Let's talk about Manchester United. Let's go Champions League. Idris, it is your floor, and my first question is a very simple, very simple question. The champion, was this a Tuchel masterclass? What's that? I'm not bossy. I just have better. I can't say the last part.
Ideas.
I just have better ideas. Okay. You see,
lay it on me, bro. I'm waiting.
It ties to my question. So my simple question is it a Tuchel? I think they call it Tuchel. A Tuchel masterclass or Pep disaster class? Let's go.
Tuchel masterclass. I'll go Tuchel masterclass. We were all saying we can't beat City 3 times. And in the 3 games, Pep played 3 different types of football. You understand? And he went false 9. He played with a defensive midfielder once. and then he played with all three offensive midfielders. Then in the same game where he was playing on all three offensive midfielders, he found a way to bring in Fernandinho back into the system and just there looping the ball forward. I never seen Pep teams actually just so clueless. They just there playing one football. Never did I think I ever see the day
long
that
throws,
would happen.
long
Like
throws,
I was
and,
you have to be into a man's head that is always composed and actually see him so confused about stuff. Like that was amazing. So I would say it's a Tuchel masterclass because you and I talk about Tuchel in his time in Mainz. You actually pointed out to me things he had done in Mainz and who he was in Borussia Dortmund. And then I keep saying,
welcome.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I just, based on my cup, I don't give compliments. So it's
although I was catching a lot of bullets, for being a Tuchel worshipper because of that. Okay.
Oh man, we shall not talk to
I caught a lot of bullets early on in the season.
Our editor in chief. I like her a lot, so I'm not going to. She has suffered enough this season. Let's just put it this way.
It's okay.
She has suffered this season.
EJ, this is not director of chief. I know.
So when you look at what Tuchel did, like you were talking about him in Mainz, him in then his progression, right? I didn't guys spend a lot of time in Mainz. His progression into who he is today, like it's even when people bash the last manager that was there and say there was sentiment and stuff, like it was like you could totally see he had grown. Like all those things we're talking about, Ole, it was very clear. It was almost like watching Lampard again. The naivety was just oozing. It was like, your guys are at 75 minutes, your guys are run out of ideas. Something has to happen. If you have to play ugly football, one football, something has to happen. Whatever you're doing right now is not working. You understand what I'm trying to say? Because Villareal stay creating chances, and that was a problem. So when you come to Tuchel and Pep is a genius. I'm not going to jump on that clownish wagon where we're saying fraudula or something. Nah, fam, nah. The guy's a genius, right? But to be able for somebody to have, I think Tuchel had dreamt of Pep since Bayern Munich. He's probably been scarred since Pep was in Bayern Munich and he was in Mainz and Dortmund. He must have been so traumatized that he finally got the guy's number. And like he's the boogeyman now for Pep because Pep did everything, man. And all he just did is look at this Chelsea squad and be like, you guys are crap in the defense in the back four. So we're going to figure out a way to just accommodate your crap. You understand? Then we're going to look at the forward. You idiots cannot score if your life depended on it. But we'll just keep going till something actually happens. And it's ridiculous, like how he was able to just maintain the same guys, have faith in senior players, then reintroduce the young players that could rise to the cream of top like Mason Mount. So I got to give him credit for man management, tactical awareness, the sub by bringing in Kovacic. God damn, that just like changed everything. And Pep was so frustrated. You could totally tell he had an idea, and Kovacic comes in, and we went from a 3-4-3 situation into a 3-5-2 situation. And it was like, okay, Werner, as you mentioned, kept running. They took Werner out at like 60-something minutes now. He was running fine. That's why everybody can run in Chelsea. Everybody can run. All these things that we are talking about, Werner, this would be my last time chastising Werner for one reason. He's won the Champions League. So I will give him credit for winning the Champions League. Just like Fernando Torres did, I will give him credit. But if
agenda must agenda.
Agenda must agenda, my brother. Agenda must agenda. But if you look at everybody giving Werner a pass, go and look at the same guys talking about Fernando Torres, talking about Morata. God damn, Werner's offside stats and missed stats are equivalent to Morata stats. And all of a sudden, it's now tell me his runs are doing something. Me self he run. If that was the only thing I'm doing, no ball sense, I will run. Mishibashu, I can run. Everybody can run.
Tammy Abraham,
runner in chief, he can run. The point here is it works for this manager. He said this thing in his press conference, and I actually used it as a debate one time. Even when my boys were yelling at me, Idris has a Werner agenda. He said when he came to the team, he spoke directly to the German players. Directly. And that was Timo, Kai, and Rudiger especially. And he was answering this question based on what happened to Kotzuma. He said sincerely he felt that it was unfair to Kurt. It wasn't Kurt's fault, but he's known Rudiger from national team. He's known him within the German setup. You understand? He had some sort of relationship with him, so he was able to clearly talk to him as to what he wanted to do in terms of showing the defense, what he needed him to do with Thiago Silva. He has a relationship with Thiago Silva, so it was like, this is what I just need you guys to do to keep the ship stable. And he could communicate offensively with the two Germans in front. Whoever is not in that realm automatically falls out and needs to fight their way back into the team. The time is the Giroux. They need to fight back into the team. Whatever though it was he did, Tuchel was able to communicate clearly to everybody on that team as a unit and executed. And you know what, man? False nine, double forward, Fernandinho, no Fernandinho, penalty. Everybody that wants to beat City next season should study the 3 games Tuchel played Pep. Pep has used I don't know what he's going to. He has to come up with false goalie for us to be like, okay, this is new. Like he has to come up with something new.
I'll just keep it simple and buy Hurricane. I just go back to using the striker. Because I think I gave the best fit there. So let's talk to our resident Pep City fan. You are a City fan. We know this. You know you are a Bayern fan, but in England you're a City fan because of Pep. So tell us what happened to our Pep guy. Because I'll use our because I like Pep too. But what happened to Pep? What was this? He has fed into the narrative of overthinking. No, so let me give a context to this. When I saw that lineup, I watched with some of my United friends. I'm like, what? That was the first thing I pulled up. I was like, what? No DM? Who is going to break up the play? Like, yes, I get what he was trying to do. I said immediately when I saw the first 10 minutes, I understand. He wanted to quicken the tempo, keep the ball and quicken the tempo that before Chelsea can that block that they have in the middle. Because you know how I describe it too. I don't know if you guys saw that interview with Rio Ferdinand, who was describing the block, how Tuchel plays and all that. I know what I was trying to do. He's trying to keep the ball, play those 2 attacking aids, which is KDB and
Bernardo.
And Silva, KDB and Silva, where they can keep the ball and they can quicken the tempo. So before that block settles, they played around them. And when the block comes forward to press them, they go over the top to Sterling. That's what I understand what he was trying to do. But the one thing I just said is, when they lose the ball, you're going to lose the ball. Chelsea have a good team. You are going to lose the ball. When you lose the ball, who is going to break up the play? That was the first thing I said. I was like,
who's going to break up the play? Sorry, sir.
Who's going to break up the play?
No.
Recipe for disaster. That's what I said.
If we lose the ball, Werner will not score. So I understand what he was doing. Because Werner had 2 chances.
Come back to Werner again.
No,
you just said
no. I'm not. It's not about chastising. Wait, for him to have taken that chance, there are things he had seen.
Okay.
Right. Yes, there are things he had seen. Chelsea I think the last coach created even far more chances than this coach created. But still, Chelsea still creates a lot of chances, and turnover and conversion rate is very, very poor. Chelsea's conversion rate is very, very poor. So for him to go with 3-8, literally Gundogan, Silva, and Kevin De Bruyne, to me, I don't think he was overthinking it. Because until Kante entered beast mode in 35 minutes, in minute 35, because that after what Kante did in minute 35 was just God mode to the end of the game, right? Dada said when we're chatting on our conversation, he said if we concede in the first 15 minutes, Chelsea will struggle. If Chelsea weathers the storm, first 15 minutes, we have a shot. Nobody in my group chat said we could win the game. We have a shot in this game because the question now is, would we score? Because we'll create chances, would we score? And this team is still naive. But for him to come at us like that, but then again, I will have to recede again and say City didn't have a shot on goal till like 40 minutes, which is crazy.
Okay, let's get that. Okay. What are your thoughts?
I was checking my phone on Live Score. They had a fake lineup before, maybe like 2 hours before So when I saw the lineup, the real lineup, I was like, "What's going on? Who is going to play the defensive midfield?" I didn't figure. I didn't understand, and I think that was a very bad mistake from Pep. That was I don't know what he was thinking about. I don't recall him even having played this kind of tactics this season without a defensive
Only one.
midfielder.
No, first time.
And he decided to play it in the biggest game of the season, the final, something you have not done before. It's that move had a lot of cascading effect. Okay, not playing with a defensive midfielder, you are not bringing Gundogan, the guy who ghosts into the opponent box, and he mops off the spill. You know how many goals Gundogan scored this season? You know how many
Top
goals he
scorer.
scored by just ghosting into the. Nobody's looking at it, looking for him, and he just ghosts and he scores. And you now put him as your lone defensive midfielder. Of course, before minute 35, he was already on a yellow because he's not used to marking, and that actually limited what he could ever do. So that's one. Two, it was forcing this guy, John Stones, to take the ball, to carry the ball away from. So normally, if you have a 4, John Stones seed the ball to your defensive midfielder. Defensive midfielder move the ball ahead. But now, because Gundogan was going up front, all of them were going. So John Stones has to now take that responsibility and try to move the ball ahead. So when he moves the ball, any turnover is leaving John Stones' position open. So that was exactly what. See, that goal that was scored, I think Joshua mentioned it sometime. That replica has already been done 2 minutes before that real goal came. Because if you look at that pass went through the center of City. That is where a defensive midfielder sits. And there was no defensive midfielder there. He was on the bench. So I know what Pep was trying to do was probably to overwhelm Chelsea early and score the early goals, grab like a 2-goal lead, and let them chase the game. And of course, I told someone, this is too dangerous. If City does not score or take a lead by halftime, then that's over. It's just like for people that watch boxing, Tyson. You're trying to knock someone out within the first 3 rounds. What if that doesn't work out? Then you have the last 7 rounds to struggle. That's what actually happened. He didn't.
I have a question, Dio.
Yep.
Say you said amazing breakdown, sir. You said the ball came through the middle, and I believe somebody in the chat has said that was on Zinchenko's. Zinchenko was on the wrong side of the run, right? We could also blame I can't remember who was it that backed off from AC Mount, who was just. It wasn't John Stones now. He was just standing there.
Kyle Walker.
Kyle Walker, thank you. He was just standing. He was like wherever he was. That was just bad positioning, right? And let's say that run did not turn into a goal for Chelsea, right? We wouldn't be saying this now because let's be very honest. As much as
they've done that.
They've done that attacking move. Like Dio said, they have done that attacking move already, like 2 or 3 times. They've done that move.
Then Sterling was not. I would have said by dropping Fernandinho, you have to accommodate Sterling. Sterling has been out of it for the whole season. Yeah, and he is not part of their best 11, if we are going to be honest. But you try to shoehorn him into it, and Pulisic had a chance that he should have buried. Werner had 2 chances that he should have buried. If we are talking about Zinchenko didn't do his job, what if Werner did his job? What if Pulisic did his job? We'll now be talking about 4-0, 5-0 in the final.
Well said.
So we can take one out and put one back in. The thing was City with that lineup, whatever Tuchel did, they didn't have a chance.
Yeah. To hold that thought before we go on, Jola, welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
I know you can also contribute to Champions League chat. We'll still circle back. I know you have something to get off your chest for Europa Final. I know you always have to get off your chest, but we'll circle back. Before you say that, let me take the comment. Let me take the comment. Onome says, thanks for the comment. Onome, hindsight is 2020. It's easy to say that now. But 2 of those games, City should have been out of sight in the first half. We can say that for so many games. Those fine margins is why Guardiola is one of the best paid coaches in the world. So yeah, hindsight is not 2020. That's why they pay. The best coaches get the best money because of those fine margins, and that's how the big tournaments are won. That's my opinion anyway. I'm not saying your opinion is wrong. Onome says lack of DM did not actually make a big difference. I think it did. It's the playing of Sterling that was very questionable. Okay, I agree. Fair point. We need to address that too. The goal that was called absolutely shocking defending from Zinchenko. I agree. He had time to get goal side of Havertz. For some reason, he did not. That's true. That's very true. Let's take the last comments. Siamar says, please don't circle back to Europa Final. Okay, Jola, since you just came in, let's let you. Can you address what you said about Sterling? So I can control the consumer. What are your thoughts? Do you think Sterling should have started? Okay. Jola?
Okay, so my thoughts about
Dayo, you don't finish your comment.
No, I'm done.
Okay.
You're done. Okay, Jola, Sterling. Let's talk about Champions League. We'll circle back to Europa. What do you think Sterling should have played that game?
So I just happen to think that Pep going into that game, I don't know what he was thinking. I think he made a big mistake. I don't think this is one of those things where we're exercising hindsight. I know hindsight is 2020, but this is not one of those hindsight moments because I don't know anyone who did not question the lack of a DM in that starting 11. Like they released the lineup, and that's what everybody was saying. We've seen Pep play with. I mean, he played with a false 9 the entire season, pretty much. I've never really seen him play without a DM in important games. Now, what another thing he did that was a little extreme during the season was when United played City in the first time we played them in the league. Yeah, and he played DMs, right? And he played 2 DMs, right? But for him to play absolutely no DMs, that was disaster class from him. I'm not taking anything away from Tuchel and Chelsea, nothing at all. Idris, you get to enjoy this and milk the cow for as long as you want. But we have to mention the fact that was a very questionable move by Pep. And like Dyer was saying, look, if Fernandinho had been in that game, that pass from Mason Mount would not have been made that way. No, it wouldn't, because beautiful pass, great pass. If Fernandinho had been there, Mason Mount would have had a choice to like maybe play it in the air, play that pass in the air, even if he wanted to do it. And then you have a situation where Havertz is needing 1.5 more seconds to bring the ball down and do whatever he wants with it. Those calls are very critical in games like this. And like I said, look, I don't care what we may think right now, a week after the game. Pep gets paid to win games like that. Pep gets paid to show that he is really the best tactician in the world in games like that. And even more so, it was brought to City to do one thing: win the Champions League. Because prior to his arrival, they had won everything there was to win, right? Except the Champions League. So I'm sorry, he bottled that. He bottled that one.
No, I'll just I know you say he bottled it, but just on behalf of Chelsea fans, now we got 2 Champions League, 2 Europa Cups. I just want people to know when they're mentioning Arsenal fans, we are not rivals. Tottenham is their rival.
Right now, man.
Let's hear from Ola.
Just a shameless plug in there. Sorry, Mr. Bundesliga.
Okay.
I just thought I'd do that.
Well, I'm going to throw some facts out there relating to people have been saying, it's not the lack of DM. I read an article by Michael Cox. Michael Cox is usually good with tactical analysis and stuff like that. And E2 was trying to make the argument that, it's not because of the DM, because of the lack of DM. No, that's not why they lost. I just think those people that are making excuses for Pep are overthinking it the way Pep also overthought it. They are overthinking it like Pep overthought it. The simple fact is, City played 61 games this season, and only one other game, the Pep did not use Rodri or Fernandinho. So in the 60 other games, he used Fernandinho or Rodri. And now you got to the final of the biggest club competition, and you decided not to use any DMs. And you started crowbarring Raheem Sterling, started crowbarring players all over the place. So you can't tell me it's not the lack of DM that was the issue. I'll use Liverpool as an example. Even Man City last season, it was an example. What happened when they lost Laporte? Laporte was their big center back. They moved Fernandinho out of midfield and put him center back. It upset the whole balance of the team. Yeah. They paid for it. They finished 19 points behind Liverpool. What happened this season? Liverpool now had the same situation. We had Van Dijk out. We now move Fabinho, our best center defensive midfielder. We will now move Fabinho back into defense. What happened to our team? We finished 18 points behind City. You can't tell me center defensive midfielder is not important.
You're even lucky that they brought Fabinho back before the season ended. You could have gone.
We wouldn't have made champions. Do you know why Liverpool now made Champions League this season? The last 10 games, Klopp now finally woke up. Klopp now woke up like, man, this is playing Fabinho in centre back is not working. It now said, okay, let's just manage the inexperienced centre backs we have. Put Fabinho back into midfield and started playing Rhys Williams and Nat Phillips. Because Fabinho,
And Ola, just to add more to your point, when he started playing Fabinho in Fabinho's correct position, Rhys Williams and Nathan Phillips started to defend better.
Exactly.
Because they had
They had that protection.
And I'll give you a further example, Jola. So the last 10 games, when Klopp now finally woke up and said, okay, let's play Fabinho back in midfield. The last 10 games, Liverpool won 8 out of the last 10 games. Yeah. The 2 games we drew out of the last 10 games, guess what happened? Fabinho was playing in defense because Nat Phillips was injured for those 2 games. So the 2 games we drew was because Fabinho was back in defense, and all the other 8 games we won, Fabinho was in midfield, and we played defenders in defensive position. My main point is play your best players in their best positions, especially in the biggest games. Biggest games are not when you start messing around and trying to show that, okay, I can outthink this guy, I can do this, I can do that. That's not what the biggest games are for. Play your best players in their best position, and then if things are not working, when you start with your best players, if things are not working, then start tweaking it. Don't start the game by playing like a position that playing a formation that is putting the best players out of their best position. Gundogan is Man City's top scorer this season, and you took him out of that place where he's of maximum threat. You now put him in defensive midfield, and people want to now tell me that Pep is not to blame. Man,
so I have a question for I have a question for everybody. This guy played Tuchel 3 times. He used defensive midfielders that last 2 times. Just did not pan.
Man, he didn't play the look. I'll correct you.
The last 2 times. So
he didn't use the full team both times. The FA Cup, the league game was not the full team. The league game was not the full team. So that's that. Oh yeah, you guys beat them twice, but that was not City's full team. That was not City's full team. Even the FA Cup was not City's full team. So this is best team. He should have played his best team in the biggest game instead of experimenting. Experimenting on the biggest stage, I don't agree with it.
Josh, I think we don't hear from you. Hold on. Let Josh.
Okay, I just want to quickly say, I had a few points there. Obviously, when I did the pre-match show with a friend of mine, he's a Barcelona fan. My prediction was, because Chelsea's defense has been solid all season, obviously a bit shaky in the last couple of games of the season. I said my prediction was if Chelsea were to score first, it was going to be a long night for City, because we've seen Pep in situations like this where he starts overthinking it, like we said, players start getting desperate, and we haven't really seen City come from behind. So we don't know what to expect, because City's always blowing past teams. The game is over by the halftime whistle. So it was very interesting to see it. So I kind of envisioned that City would struggle, and that was basically exactly what happened. I wish I put money down for this game, because I would have been 100% right. The one thing I wanted to say about the DM thing, I'm thinking maybe Pep might have needed some fresh legs. He was thinking when you look at Chelsea's attack, very pacey, a lot of movement off the ball, on the ball. So maybe he was trying that. I do agree that not having a DM was definitely a huge part, a huge reason as to why City lost that game. But I wouldn't go as far as to say, Pep is a fraud or fraudulent or whatever the word is, because just like how he pulled off the no striker in most games in the league and still won it, if he had pulled that off in the finals, we'll all be sitting here and saying what a genius he is, right? So that's kind of where it's like, I think that was a good finals too. I think that was a really good finals. I haven't enjoyed the finals. I think last season I didn't really enjoy that finals, to be honest. I know we have a Bayern Munich fan here, and I just didn't enjoy. I think this finals was a bit more entertaining. It was a close game. I was expecting Chelsea to sit back a bit more. I was actually surprised to see Chelsea really get out there and attack. And like we said with Timo Werner, his movement, you could tell when he got moved to the wing, to the right wing, or to the left wing. That's when Chelsea really started opening up. Like City's defense really opened up, because as much as people don't like Timo Werner, and I've been saying it, yes, his finishing is poor. He is a nightmare for defenders. He is, because the fact that the hardest thing for a striker, obviously finishing is one thing, but to be in the right place at the right time, that's hard for a striker to keep moving. And that's one thing he always does. And every game I watch of Chelsea, Timo Werner could probably have a hat trick if he was clinical with his finishing. So that's why I still, with all the hate that he gets, I still feel like he deserves, not, I won't say praise, but he deserves a lot of credit for Chelsea's attack this season. And the last point I was going to make was, honestly, I think like, what was I going to say here? Okay, yeah. So I was writing all this stuff down. The other thing I was going to say is maybe Pep is not a tournament coach, because he needs to figure it out. He needs to go to therapy and figure what the hell is going on, because his overthinking works in the league, because there's a lot of games, it's very tactical. There's no luck. No luck is going to win you a league. Everybody knows that. But in terms of a tournament, it's a one-off game, especially in the finals. It's one-off. It's just give it your all. You don't need to have the greatest skill in the world. Just give it your all. And I think that's where he really struggles, because he starts trying to overthink everything and overthink it. So maybe he just needs to go see a therapist to get that sorted. But I think it was a great finals, and it was there was a lot of action in the finals too. It wasn't boring by any stretch of the imagination, but yeah, I'm happy. I was happy that Chelsea won, because it was my way of saying to all the Ole inners that this is what happens when you get a proper coach in charge. Yes, Ole has done well for us, just like in the finals. When you were in university, you could get A's and B's in your midterm, in your projects, but if you did not pass your final, you failed the course. And to me, Ole failed the finals, and a lot of times that we've gotten there, he's failed it. So for me, that's what I say is, Ole inners, look at Chelsea. That's where we could have been this season.
Yep.
Okay, let me take comments. Anonymous says, please, we have to do Europa. We'll do Europa. Don't worry. Jola is waiting. We'll do it for like 5 minutes, just 5 minutes. Siama says, laughing my ass off. Idris Loud, Arsenal's rival is Spurs. You all are not mates. Yeah, that's true.
At all. I mean, see, baby, I need to come all the way to Texas to and greet you. Thank you for this comment. Gotta print the shirt out so that people know that I feel Siamara on it, because I can't understand people not sleeping well because Chelsea won. We are not mates. Like, we are not mates. Like, it's oh no, like Chelsea to the moon, man.
What on the streets, Siama is becoming a Chelsea fan. What on the streets? That's the rumor. I heard that.
No, all they have to do is fire Ole, and you guys go on another run. The true United in how come out. The true United in how come out. You think she's aggressive right now? You think she's aggressive right now to Arsenal fans? So I feel bad for them. If United start winning, Arsenal fans will be nailed to the cross and anything available.
But you know what's crazy with the Arsenal? You know what's crazy with the whole Arsenal trying to cling on to London and competing with Chelsea is, over when it was just Manchester United and Arsenal, there was a huge gap between United's success and Arsenal's success. But because Arsenal was the only other English team doing bits or doing things, that's why we kind of put Arsenal on that pedestal. But I'm sorry, Arsenal fans, over my brother listening, It's gone. It's too late now. I think Chelsea.
Don't need to apologize.
London
Don't
is blue,
apologize
man.
to them.
London is blue.
Don't kick a man when he's down, man. Yeah.
Don't apologize to them.
Dayo, say don't kick him out down. You beat a dead horse.
Okay. So let me move this quickly. Let me move this on. Who was the player of the match? Best player. Just rattle it. One each person. Ola, who was your player of the Champions League final?
Kante.
Josh.
I think it's between Mount and Conte, but I gotta give it to Conte though. You know, man of the match in like what 3 games or like 3 quarterfinals, semis, and finals. So yeah, Conte.
Dio.
Conte. I would just say maybe Rudiger. Yeah, Rudiger deserves a mention. Yeah,
that's fair.
I didn't expect him to keep his head. Yeah, he did.
He did.
You know, like it's just God mode Kante, man. 35 minutes to the end. The guy was doing 3 people's job. Like it was unreal what I was watching. That's all we can see here and criticize no DM on Pep's side. The only reason we're having this conversation, one guy at 35th minute just kicked in, and then everything seemed to not look normal anymore. That we can actually think three of the best number 8s in the league were dysfunctional because of one guy. Kante, sorry.
Ojola?
I mean, Kante is almost a no-brainer, but I want to especially shout out Rudiger and Reece James. I think Reece James shut down Raheem Sterling completely. And I know Sterling had a bad game, but even when I think there was a point when Pep took out, they put Jesus out to the left and put Aguero in the middle, there was still no joy for them on that side. So I want to highlight Reece James and Rudiger.
Are you on mute?
Oh, for me, no, I'm saying yeah.
No, I'm not on mute.
Okay. Even Siama says N'Golo Kante. Yannicka just texted me. I think she wants to hop on. Before we
come on, Yannicka.
She's been hiding, man. She's been hiding as of late. So
let's let Jola talk about Europa. Jola, we know you want to talk about Europa. Before we go to Europa, quickly, Idris, what additions do you think Chelsea needs for next season? Just quickly. You don't need to go into details why.
Just to defensive midfield and central midfield and an attacker.
Name any names? Or possibly
right now
that you like?
Right now, that I like. Honestly, I'll go for Verratti or Ndidi or Declan Rice. Declan Rice because he was a former Chelsea boy and Lampard was all over him. Then I start paying attention to him. I mean, having him and Kante would just be Kovacic energy. Attacker, it will never happen for us. But Kane, if Kane came over or Haaland, I mean,
never say never, man. Kane
as long as Daniel Levy is alive,
Jola's like take to the bank.
Okay, that's fair. Jola, the floor is yours.
Yeah.
We're back to Europa League.
I mean, it's been a week and a half, and every time I still think about it, it just runs my stomach. I forgot who said it, that maybe Pep, I think it was Josh, that maybe Pep is a good manager in the league, but not in knockout football. Ole has proved that he's a shitty manager on both ends. He doesn't know how to play the league. He doesn't know how to play knockout football. And we have had almost 3 years worth of evidence to assess. Like if I could write a book, I would have an encyclopedia of how terrible Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is as a manager. And people often talk about how good he is as a man manager. He's not. He is not a good man manager, because managing the man involves both on and off the pitch, you know, management skills. A good man manager knows how to rotate the squad, regardless of what kind of quality exists in that squad. A good man manager knows, you know, what best position a player is suited for. And I think it's more than the negative football for me. It's more than the negative football. It is the inability to actually make something happen. I want to sit down and see the hand of my coach on the team. The way you see the hand of Pep. You see Klopp's fingerprints literally on the way his boys play football. And for somebody who pretty much made his name because of his performance in a cup final, the way he handled this cup final was, you know, it was criminal. It was criminal at best. I'm not gonna rant all over again, but I think I don't care at what level you manage, right? I could be over here down the street managing a high school.
Give the people what they want, man. You want to rant. It's okay.
Yeah, you're right. Well, I mean, if it's a cup final, and I see my opposition manager making 4 changes in a 90-minute spell, why would I sit back and not react? You know, the first change did not come until I think 100 minutes into the game. So that lets me know what kind of not just his coaching skills, but his mindset as a winner, his mindset as a competitor, his mindset as somebody who should be delivering at the very highest level. I said in my fan review that in my match review that I would never give a Formula One car to my 7-year-old nephew. He just can't drive it. And what I'm afraid of in this team is that we're going to rely so much on individual brilliance, right? That when the individual brilliance runs out, we will end up like Arsenal or worse. I'm not buying the whole notion that that Oli has made made United better. He has not. He has not made United better in any way, shape, or form. I think it is important to also look at how this guy loses certain games or how he draws certain games. The fact just is he doesn't. And I know we can talk about the players and stuff, but if the players cannot keep it together, if they have shown for 2.5 years that they cannot keep it together when it matters the most, defending set pieces at the last minute, maintaining concentration when the opposition is attacked, little things like that, that comes from above. That comes from right from the manager's office. Jose, as much as I hate Jose, he won us this same competition with a dead team. I don't know if you guys have seen you have gone back. Well, about 4 important players were on the touchline on crutches when we played Ajax in that final.
Yeah, I saw that picture.
That's true.
And I'm at this point, I'm beyond Oli out. I'm now at Oli, please leave. Please. No, that's really what it is. We have to appeal to his. I mean, I don't know, but that's just my little spiel on it, because the longer I think about it, the more angry I get. One last point though. I'm tired of people talking about. I'm tired of people talking about almost deflecting the issue when we talk about Oli. They almost deflected to Woodward. They deflected to the executive leadership at Manchester United. Talk about the Glazers. Oh, if the Glazers are better owners, we would. I don't care about what the Glazers do not dictate what happens on the pitch. We did not lose that final because of Joe or any of the Glazer family members. No, that is not why we lost. I don't care what kind of owner you have. I don't care what kind of executive leadership you have at your club. You work with the tools and you deliver using those tools. Because if you can't show me that you can manage the talent that you have in your squad, why would I entrust you with 300 million pounds to go on a spending spree? Ole has not justified his place as a manager in modern day football, let alone a manager at Manchester United.
That's extreme.
No. Hold on. Ayo, Ole has been coaching.
Jola.
No.
Let's be wary of my football. You are saying, wait. To you, you are saying he has not justified it. He came second in the league and he has gotten the Glazers Champions League money.
What? Are you?
Let me talk for a second. Let me talk.
I'm saying to the owners.
Go ahead.
I'm saying to the owners. I'm not saying to. I'm saying to the owners.
Let me talk for a second. One second. Let's welcome Yannicka. Let's be gentlemen. Our delectable Yannicka. Thanks for joining us. I know City.
Yannicka, can I see my clap for you?
Yannicka, he's been waiting for you to come on.
I know City lost, and to be fair to Yannicka, on our pod that we did for the bracket, she did say City was going to lose. She said it. Remember, guys, I rewatched the video just to remember everybody's takes. She said because City is getting it for the first time, City is going to lose. She thinks the next time they get there, they will win. You should not have said that, Yannicka. You put those vibes into nature, and nature answered you. You shouldn't have said that. You said that. But thanks for joining. Let's wrap up this thought. I think this United talk, let's park it. We're going to have a full United review. Let's park it so that we don't deviate too much. The one thing I wanted to say, I think the players deserve some criticism too. I've always done 60-40 anytime I do criticism. Bruno Fernandes did not show up. Paul Pogba did not show up. Rashford did not show up. I know when many players don't show up, you can blame the coach. And we've done that already. But let's focus on the players now, right? A lot of our players did not show up in the final. We'll be here. We rate our players. Paul Pogba, everybody knows I'm a huge Pogba fan. Too many times when it matters most, he goes missing. He went missing in this final. Bruno Fernandes went missing. Rashford went missing. Okay, Cavani scored that goal. Mostly he went missing. A lot of our players deserve a lot of criticism.
Sorry, quick question.
Mentality. When in the big moments, a lot of them don't have the mentality, and that's part of it. A percentage of it, they need to show that. That's one thing I've been telling United fans. I know Solskjaer is not the guy. I've been saying it even when everybody was getting excited. I've been telling people about this for a long time because I've studied his approach and his tactical, everything he tries to do. I've been studying for a long time. I know he's not the guy, but a lot of our players, I think, as United fans, we overrate them. I want to end it there. That's when it comes to Europa. That's my thoughts about all of this.
I just want to confirm something from you, my United fans. Is it true? Is it true that when the penalty shootout was about to start, United won the toss, but Bruno Fernandes decided to go second on the penalty shootout? Right. Did you hear about
it? Yes, he did.
Yeah.
It's true. He did that. Yeah.
Because they said the statistics show if you go first, you win 60% of the time. I didn't know that. I just wanted to confirm that from you guys.
But
he did that.
I just want to add one more thing to what Ola said. The fact that Bruno Fernandes did that lets me know that he was not receiving instruction on what to do when the game goes to penalty shootout. Because a good coach, a good manager prepares for a final to the T. You prepare to the T. When you win the coin toss, this is what you do. If you lose the coin toss, this is what you do. Before this guy takes his penalty, tell De Gea to do this. Like all those subs that Ole saved until the last 10 minutes of the game. You would have thought that maybe, I know De Gea hasn't saved a penalty since 2016. Maybe I should take him out and put in Henderson. Now, I'm not saying he should have done. I'm not saying he should have done that. But because he delayed so long, I was thinking maybe that's what he's thinking, right? But no. But that lets me know that this man does not watch the game, and I dare anybody to convince me otherwise. He watches Hulu and Netflix on that fight. That's all he does.
Okay. Let's take comments and let's jump to Champions League. It's okay. I think we're done with Europa. Let's take comments.
July, if you have a podcast,
Onome says my biggest issue with Ole
I'm signing on.
is his lack of trust for his squad players. The entire squad is over winning trophies, not just starting 11. Didn't play so bad. Yeah, he could not bring in players to change. I feel sorry for him, but his final showing was really poor. I agree, 100%. His squad management is pretty poor. Another thing, Villareal fought not in attack, yet he brought in Fred. Why? Why do you need to play Fred in the game when a more attacking player on Van der Beek was on the bench? I absolutely agree with you too. No arguments there. The last comment from C says, Jola always taking it back to Ole. Ole is to be blamed for coin toss too.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, we know.
No. Yes, he is. No, it's true.
It's okay.
I don't know.
Let's move on.
Sorry, can I say one
Let's
last
move on.
Sorry, I just wanted to say one thing. Ola and any non-United fan, I do get your point. I do get it. Like when you look at it on paper, it looks like we've made progress. But just imagine that finals that you watched. That's what every United fan has had to sit through for 38 games in the season? How many games in the Champions League? How many games in the Europa? That's what, win or lose. I leave after 90 minutes. I'm scratching my head. What the hell did I just watch? Like even when we get the 3 points or we get to the next round, it just doesn't feel real. Just because it's like there's nothing to show us that we've made progress. Because I want to watch football to be entertained. I'm not just, if I just want to see goals, I'll watch the highlights. I'll save myself 90 minutes and stick to the 2-minute highlight. But I want to watch football for entertainment and for the sport. But Ole doesn't give us that. So that's all I wanted to say to the fans the opposing fans that say Ole has made progress, we're being too harsh. Is you don't have to sit through 90 minutes week in, week out to see what happened in that finals happen all season.
Let's just agree that just because you move from one league position to another,
I'm not going to let you talk. No more. I'm going to John. I'm going to no more, Ole. No more. It's okay. So I'm just going to say this: where we are is pretty much Mourinho's 81-point season with less points, with less toxicity, and with younger players. That's what we does. That's literally what played out this season. It's 81-point season again, where we came second with less points, with less toxicity, and we just have younger players that are quicker. That's it. Yannicka, Pep. Let's hear about Pep. What happened to your sugar daddy Pep? What happened to Pep in that final?
Do you know what? Pep had not been overthinking it all season. He'd been getting it spot on. He pretty much played the same team, like against Dortmund, PSG. I thought, yeah, he's going to finally get it right in the final. And then he just got it wrong. And I don't know why, because he wasn't overthinking it this season. But in the final, he just went crazy and didn't play our captain. And the thing is, like, even if Fernandinho wasn't the player that he is, you'd still play your captain in the final. So, I don't know. He as good as Chelsea were, we pretty much, they would have had to be terrible to lose that final because Pep got it completely wrong. I'd love to, blame the players because I said all along I'm not going to blame Pep. If he puts a team out, I'm not going to blame Pep. But you can't start a game without a DM. If Tuchel had gone to a back four and dropped Kante, Chelsea fans would be saying the same thing. It's just madness, and I just don't know why he did it. And to be honest, we were never going to win that game. When I saw the lineup, I said to Dom Robbie, because I was on his show that day, I said, put money on 1-0 Chelsea. And he didn't do it. And I said, put money on 1-0 Chelsea. I said it would be 1-0 Chelsea when I saw the lineup. So I should have put $1,000 on it because I knew the scoreline. The minute I saw the lineup, I knew the scoreline. It's so annoying. I give up.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think he was wrong in starting Raheem Sterling? That's
Do you know
the other thing I've heard about.
Thought that he might start Raheem Sterling because the thing is with Sterling is as poor as he has been this season, he's effective in that he's very intelligent. He makes runs. He puts pressure on, the opposition, and they have a lot of work to do. If anyone's going to win us a penalty, it will be him, etc., etc. The problem is that Pep changed the whole system to fit Raheem in, and it didn't work because Phil Foden has been playing out on the left most of the season. He's been really, really good out on the left. He put him in a false nine. Foden has only played 1 or 2 games in false nine. So even though he's a good player, he's not a false nine. Like, that's not his position that he's been good in. Then he put Gundogan in DM. Gundogan has not played in DM for over a year. And the last time he used to play DM, City fans wanted him out because they said he's shit. So he needs to play further forward. Like, it's evident. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know. Like, I think the only thing he got right was the back four. And I know Zinchenko didn't have his best game. But, like, in general, I think that's because he wasn't helped out. Because normally there's a DM that kind of sweeps things up. And even the goal, like, you could see Zinchenko look as if to say, why am I on my own with Havertz? Like, why am I on my own? He was completely isolated. And then he lost his man. And then it was 1-0. So, yeah, he completely got it wrong. He changed people's positions. I think if you're going to put Sterling in, you have to put him in. And then, I don't know. I don't even know who you drop out. But it's just, I just think that wasn't the game for Sterling. If you're going to change it, put Aguero. Put Aguero up front. If you're going to change it, put a striker on. Because we needed a focal point. You could see. And what really annoyed me about Pep, he's not even the starting lineup because you could see he got it wrong from very early on in the game. But the thing is, we had so many warnings that they were going to score, and he didn't.
Exactly.
So for me, we didn't deserve. A lot of people are expecting me to be upset that we lost that final. I'm not upset. We didn't deserve to win. If we deserved to win, I'd be upset. But we didn't deserve to win, and Pep didn't change it. So it's on City. It's on Pep. To be fair, I feel a little bit sorry for the players, especially Aguero, because I don't think Aguero got long enough to change it, if you know what I mean. Especially with the age he is, like he needs longer than 15, 20 minutes. Maybe if he's 23, he can do it in that time, but I think he needed a bit longer. And he's the only person I feel sorry for. But yeah, Pep, completely. I'm not saying we would have won because Chelsea were very, very good, but any chance we had of winning was gone from that lineup. So, I don't know.
Do you think KDB's injury affected anything? Because I heard a lot of chat. Because I didn't think he was too influential in the game. Even before
he wasn't
he really
doing anything anyways.
The thing is with De Bruyne didn't really get into the game. And I think the reason why he didn't get into the game was because it's just the way that we play when Gundogan is in the deeper position. It's just not, there's no protection. So it's literally like everything goes through De Bruyne, which makes us very predictable. So all Chelsea had to do was cut out anything that De Bruyne did to stop him from getting in the game. And, we had 1 or 2 shots that were like blocked, but Chelsea just had to defend. It was pretty simple. Like I could have beat City with that lineup, because it's just like, what they're going to do. They're going to try and walk it in. And to be fair, what I would say about the Man City team is I think some of our players were a little bit quiet, like Mahrez, who has been really, really, really good, had a quiet game, Foden, who has been really, really good. I don't think it really worked too well for him in the false nine. So I don't think City were particularly good, but I just think Pep made it worse by not just playing. I'm sorry, if it works, don't change it, And it's the same, like I'm not even trying to make excuses because I know if Tuchel had played a back four and Chelsea fans came on here and said, why did Tuchel change it? I'd be in agreement. So I just don't know why. I think Pep messed it up and he overthought it. I think probably losing twice to Chelsea made him think, oh, shoot, I need to try something different. And I don't know, but no DMs is criminal. No Fernandinho is criminal. And if we'd have won that game, we would have been extremely lucky to do so. So, yeah, I'm kind of over it now, but he needs to stop overthinking
So
things.
no Pep out?
Nah,
No Pep out? Banners yet?
the problem is with Pep is because he's a genius, he overthinks it. Like any basic manager would have gone in and played the same team that Man City have played all season, and they probably would have won. But because it's Pep and he's so clever, it's kind of his downfall in these sorts of situations because he overthinks it. Ollie would have gone out there and played Man City's normal starting 11. I'm probably
way too much credit. Way too much credit.
You know what it is? It's like you know when you play
right there.
You know what Pep is like? You know what Pep is like? Pep is like that. You know when you play Sorry, I was just gonna say, you know what Pep is like? It's like, you know when you play FIFA with someone that says they never played before, and then they're beating you in the game, and then you start overthinking it because you're like, what the hell is going on? Why you've never played this game before? I should be beating you. And I think that's what happens with Pep. It's just like he knows he's better than whoever he faces, but when that person keeps beating him, it's like, what's going on here? So he starts like getting desperate to try to save the situation. So yeah.
And one thing is okay.
Sorry, Dad.
Yeah,
when that says at the wheel at the historic season, Pep overthought it. I think it's just a summary of so many things. Sterling turned up, same as Foden. De Bruyne should have played in midfield. Thanks for the comments, Benny B. Another comment from Mr. Doesn't matter if you play well or not in the final. Finals are for winning, not just to play. Good point. Good point. Yep. Dio.
That was what I was gonna be. I was about to say. Finals have to be boring. If you make a finals interesting and you lose it, then it's on you. A final has to be boring, and you have to just win. Whatever you need to do, just do it. So, and Tuchel, when they were in Germany, Tuchel is a self-professed Pep protege. He looks up to Pep. Even when Bayern sacked Ancelotti, when we went to Pep, like, who can we get? And he recommended Tuchel, but management said no. They didn't want Tuchel because he was easily triggered all the time. So, but in that final, like upsetting that balance of not having a DM, now brought to that thing, because at the end of the day, Man City had one shot on target in the whole game. Most of the games Man City loses, you see that they lost a lot of chances and stuff like that, but they didn't even lose a lot of chances. And you're saying you didn't see Mahrez. A final is not where you see Mahrez or anybody. The final is where everybody just look at last season. Bayern was smashing everybody 8-2, 5-0, 10-0. And they got the final, they settled for a 1-0 boring game and just get it over with across the line. That's how finals that's how finals should be. You will not see any KDB. Nobody will be beating anybody 4-0. Nobody will be shining. If Mahrez was shining in that final, then they should cancel Rudiger's contract, because that's not what the final should be. Like they should, you shouldn't be shining in the final. It's a final. It's a Champions League final. It's not a Carabao Cup. You are probably only ever going to play once or twice in your whole career. And
I think Pep is one of those guys. He reminds me of those like scientists that he's such a nerd that you can see him like this final. He's played it like 50 times in the last 3 weeks, especially because he has lost twice to Tuchel in the lab and has tried so many scenarios, and he now stumbles on something and be like, yes, this is one that will work in his head. But now translating on the pitch, the players are probably looking at him like, bro, what the F? What are you doing? But of course it's Pep, because guess what? It's the same, like, who said that? Someone brought that point up. I think it was Josh earlier. This is the same Pep that's won a very difficult Premier League that City were 9th without playing a striker. And I'm sure when he first said it, they're looking at him like, what's wrong with this dude? And it's like, don't worry, guys, trust me. And they did it, and it worked. And it was like, whoa! So he comes to the finals like, this is what we're going to do. I'm sure I look like this guy, what are you doing? It's like, okay, you know what? We have to trust him. He showed us this way, and it worked this season, and we're champions.
Could it also be that like Tuchel already knows he's also handicapped? He came in 6 months, and in as much as he's playing the people you think he knows, and you mentioned Rudiger, because to me he was just comfortable with Rudiger as a German guy. Then Rudiger obviously took his chances and stuck in there. Tuchel doesn't really have much options. Everybody says Chelsea's squad has depth, yes, but it's almost kind of like a disjointed bunch. So it's kind of like how do I fit this guy in 4-3-3? There's some people that are never going to play in Chelsea. 3-back wing back situation. Some people are definitely not going to play in Chelsea. You play 2 guys up front with a diamond formation 4-back. Enough guys are not going to make this team in Chelsea, and they're still on the bench. So could it also be because Tuchel could not overthink it, because he just looked at his bench and it's like, man, these guys are mad. They can literally get me fired, And Pep is like, I trust everybody, so you all keep coming through. Let's just keep this stuff. Like, I think the scenario just came like Tuchel looked at the situation like, the guys steady.
Do you know what I think it is as well? I just think like Tuchel, like he wasn't under the pressure that Pep was under, because let's be honest, if he'd have lost, he could have just said, I lost to Pep Guardiola. Pep Guardiola finals. Like he literally would have been fine. Chelsea got top 4. So it wouldn't have really made sense. He's just come in. So I think like Chelsea have won it twice now when no one really expected them to win it. And I think it's because I don't think Man City are going to win it when we're expected to win it. I think we're going to win it when people say City ain't going to win the Champions League this year. Yeah. And I think we'll win it then. And I think when the pressure is on them, like you could see our players look nervous. And it's like, I've seen Man City haven't lost the final in 8 years. And we've been to a final, not every single season, but most seasons we've been to a final. We haven't lost in 8 years. So it's one of these, like, I think they got there the first time. I always knew we were going to lose our first final. I knew it. Because this is what happens. The pressure is so much. And I just think Pep, I just wish that he would just do the basic stuff. Because like literally every City fan, because City fans are not always agreed on teams, but every City fan was like, same back 4, Fernandinho holding. And then the only thing that changed was maybe the front 3. But every single City fan had the same team. And then Pep had some and it's like how like every single City fan was like Fernandinho for the final and he didn't. I can't believe it, like, to be honest.
And you know the funny thing, because of his arrogance, he didn't want to correct it on time. And by the 60th minute, he had to now bring in Fernandinho. And that was when Gundogan was not going for.
Because I think like you say, you could tell very early on that it was the wrong decision. And like I was on a stream and everyone was saying that this girl's obsessed with Fernandinho. Because like the first second I was literally like, he needs to bring Fernandinho on. This space wouldn't be happening without Fernandinho. And when Fernandinho came on, City got 10 times better. It wasn't even like a little bit better. We were 10 times better. And I was just like, Pep, there was warning signs. You know, Werner, luckily for us, Werner is not clinical. Because if Werner was clinical, it would have been 3-0 up. So it's one of them things where he knew he had the signs that were showing, bring on Fernandinho, and he refused to do it. And I agree with you. I think with Pep, he's so stubborn that it's like sometimes you just need to think, okay, I've got this wrong. Let me just change it. And I think any basic manager would have changed it because he would have thought, okay, they're getting too much space in the midfield. They're getting too much space. Let's bring on Fernandinho. You know, like anyone could see it. And I just think, like, for me, it's on Pep. Like, I don't like blaming the manager because I think players should turn up for a final. But I just think in that game, you could see they were struggling. And as a manager, it is your job to help your players out. And I don't think Pep did. And then he brought on, obviously it's 1-0. Bring on Aguero at halftime. Aguero has 45 minutes then to put his name on the score sheet. And I'm pretty sure, as well as Chelsea defended, if he had 45 minutes, I think Aguero might have been able to get a goal. And then if he does, it goes to extra time. I actually think Man City would have won on penalties because Chelsea fans tell me that Mendy's not very good at pens. He doesn't save pens, apparently. And I think Man City will be good at pens because a lot of the times where we've had penalties against us this season, Ederson had saved them, but then they've been rebounded in. So in a penalty shootout, all he has to do is stop it. So I think Ederson would have saved quite a few of the penalties. And as bad as we are at penalties in game, Man City are actually pretty good at penalty shootouts. I can't remember the last time we lost a penalty shootout. So we would have been better off just trying to get a goal and then taking it to extra time and hopefully going through to penalties. Because I think that would have been City's best chance. The way we were playing, we were never going to win that game in 90 minutes. So take it to extra time, take it to penalties, and I think we would have won. So it's like we had the chance there to bring on Aguero at halftime. Even if we lose, if we still lose, because I always said if it goes 1-0 Chelsea, Chelsea will win 1-0. But at least give Aguero that time in his last ever game for Man City to win it or not win it. Do you know what I mean? For everyone else, they have another chance. They can play next season. They can try and win it next season. Aguero won't have that chance unless Barcelona win it. So I think Pep got it wrong, personally. I think he got a lot wrong that night. And I don't like blaming Pep, like I say, but that final's on him. 100%.
That's fair.
Can I ask a question?
I don't really think, hold on, Idris. I don't really think the pressure got to see the players. If we say that it's kind of taking credit a lot from the Chelsea players. Chelsea was superb, especially in the areas where City is dangerous. Chilwell bullied Mahrez, so did Reece on Sterling. That's fair. Agreed. What's your question?
Yeah, I was gonna say, you guys said that KDB wasn't really impactful, and I was gonna be like, I cannot disagree, man. Like, because up until KDB went out, I think the game was quite balanced. I mean, we were getting pressured. You didn't have shots on goal, but I kind of felt that like City, even with the no defensive midfield, and we had a few chances, which I understand. But as soon as Rudiger took, which I still think was unfortunate. I don't think Rudiger planned to actually take him out like that, which is just unfortunate. But credit to Rudiger though. But like with KDB out, I'm sorry when I said
we don't support violence on this podcast.
We don't. I'm not.
Whatever it takes to win, man.
Hey, when I saw the referee actually, when I said the referee waiting. When I said the referee waiting with a yellow card, like homeboy, get up and collect your yellow, I was like, this is necessary. But when KDB left, I honestly now agree to everything you guys said. The defensive midfield situation became it was glaring in my own opinion. Everything just seems like Kante just went into God mode in some format, and it was he and Jorginho were winning almost everything with Mason Mount. So, but when you guys had the three guys are Silva, KDB, and Gundogan, I still kind of felt that like that plan made sense. So I want to put it back to you guys, especially Dio, who follows Pep very closely. If KDB was still on the pitch, do you believe that this game would have ended 1-0?
I think so, because it's if he doesn't correct that structural error of not playing a defensive midfielder, because for God's sake, KDB was on the field when I was missing everything. It could have, with KDB on the field, could have been 4-0 already. I think the only chance that he missed, I don't know if Pulisic's chance was, because there was something structurally wrong with not having a defensive midfielder. Gundogan was on a yellow. Nobody was going to take all those little niggling things that Fernandinho does 5 minutes. No, I say 5 minutes. 5 seconds before the chance. All those pulling your shirt a little bit, niggle you a little bit. Yeah, all those gamesmanship. Those are the things that you need a defensive midfielder to do. And nobody was doing it. Everybody was just 5'5", just running around, and nobody. There was a time after Fernandinho came, he went to give Kante one small thing at the back. You know that, okay? Yeah.
And the thing also you have to understand also, DMs know how to mark space. That space, like you said, does not happen. If Fernandinho is there, they know how to mark space off the ball. They mark space. They look okay. Like Fernandinho understands where is the threat. I'm going to block that threat. Because when the space is wide open like that, it's like that. And that's the funny thing. The funny thing is, in my opinion, like everything Pep had done during the season, the tricks he made in December, where Chelsea City stopped attacking, pressing high, their wingers, Yannick catches, they closed in and they blocked that space down the center, and they became slightly compact, you know, and that's when they started winning the 1-0, the 2-0, because and they became defensively very good because they blocked the space that was so apparent earlier and when they were pressing high. And he said it. He said he didn't like it. They got together and made some changes, and you could see the changes. They became more compact. All of a sudden, he decides to change it. It's like, what? Because if you had kept it compact, like Yannick said, till like if this game is a compact, cagey, nervy game to later stages, you could back City to win it either on penalties or scoring like on, you know,
exactly,
a goal
or
from Williams.
a corner kick. Like look at the Carling Cup final. I think Laporte scored a corner, scored the header like 80-something minutes. Or that was the way final is supposed to go. Cancel each other out. Then you look for one small tiny error and just capitalize on it. But when you open everything up like that, and they are just strolling through your center,
But that's the thing though, because I knew. Sorry, my thing's lagging a bit.
No, go ahead.
When Chelsea went 1-0 up, they were going to win. I knew that. But the thing is, we could see what was going to happen before it happened. So for me, where Pep got it wrong was not making the changes after the warnings. Because I think once they went 1-0 up, Chelsea defend very, very well. So I would expect them to defend how they defended. But it's like, if we got the first goal now, it changes everything. And I think Chelsea probably struggled to get back into it. So it's just one of them things. I think it was always going to be the first goal wins. Like, it was always going to be that in this sort of game. But I just think Pep just didn't do the right things. And I'm not taking anything away from Chelsea because I thought Chelsea were really, really good. But I just think we didn't help ourselves. And a lot of people act like you can't be angry at City because it discredits Chelsea. But I just think if it was the other way around and we came on here and Man City had won 1-0 and Tuchel had played like a back four or dropped Kante or something like that, I'd be saying the same thing. He should have played Kante. He should have played a back five. You know, so it's just one of them things.
This is going mad here. That's what happened.
Actually,
just going mad and say Lampard.
I would
say.
No, no. I honestly, whatever Tuchel will have done, I will have accepted because, to be very honest, this is why I support Jola and with his rants on Ole. There's a capacity a person gets to, man. Like, I mean, it's just, I feel Ole, and you even said you actually got you got me thinking again about Ole because Ole had like 5 years experience before this job. Lampard only had 1 year experience. You understand? And he was able to get us to top four with a literally shitty team, a bunch of academy players to top four. He just could not figure the defense out. He just could not. The moment we stopped scoring, that was when his problem started, right? So I still think the jury is still out for Lampard. But I would sincerely say winning this Champions League, it was just odd for us. But the writings were on the wall for any Chelsea fan because we know how it feels to be a City supporter, Yannick, like where you're like, we want it so bad, you know, and it just never happens. It's like a semi-final getting robbed by Barcelona, twice getting, you know, so far to the finals, and your captain slips and United takes it. Like, you know, you're just like, what can we do, you know, to make it happen? And the one time I don't even think the first Champions League we won was the coach. The players won that. Yeah. the coach was
the players wanted that.
The players won that game. Like it wasn't really the coach. Like, you know, because we fired him like what 5 games in or 7 games in next season. Then Tuchel comes in and it's like it was just you could see the pattern just develop. Like looks like we might end up in the final. And if we had gotten, in my opinion, if we had gotten anybody but City, we won't win the Champions League. You know, Ayo, I told you this. If we had gotten anybody but City, we wouldn't have won the Champions League. And the only reason is the one guy I keep criticizing, Timo Werner, because of the way City plays. Pep will overthink it to some extent, and Timo is just going to keep running. And as long as that happens, we might not score, but there's always an opportunity. You know what I mean? And I gotta give the short Bush baby some credit. You know, that guy's luck. I have no idea where his luck comes from, but man. I really hope he gets baptized next season. Timo.
Oh, okay.
No, the Bush baby is a baby is a urban legend in Africa. You know that now. With very horrible luck and absolutely can't do anything.
Who are you calling Bush baby? Who is the Bush baby? Who is Bush baby?
Timo Werner.
Oh.
With his shitty luck. I've never seen that before.
Like they always say, man.
Okay, so let's end it with. Yeah, let's end it with players. So Yannicka, let's start with you. Let's end it with what players do City like? City need any players? Well, let's assume City need players. You know, just because everybody have to buy players. What players do City need, in your opinion? Go for next season. Targets, like just ideal players and position you need to fill.
We definitely need a DM. I don't actually know who I want, so that's just one of them. I'm not sure. Whoever I want,
Rodri?
Man City will back. I think Rodri's a little bit different. We need like a Fernandinho replacement. I don't think Rodri is like Fernandinho. I think he's a bit different. He works well in our system, don't get me wrong, but he's not that player that can, stop an opposition from getting through. He's not that.
What about Pep is doing, right? You know Pep is trying to do, right? He's trying to recreate the Barcelona thing again. That's what he's trying to do, apparently. That's what I'm hearing. From the IT case that I have, they say he's trying to replace. He's trying to make Rodri be his Busquets. Busquets. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to recreate the Barcelona thing all over again.
Yeah, he is, yeah. We definitely need a striker. I think that's obvious. I think that final, if there was anything to say that we both need a striker, it was that final. So yeah, I don't know who we're gonna get. I don't think we'll get Harry Kane. I think we'll get Andre Silva. He's a very Man City kind of signing. He's Portuguese.
That's true.
He's very much what City would do. He's 30 million. City will probably buy him. But obviously we're linked with Harry Kane. And then, I don't know, maybe like a natural left back, because I think games like a Champions League final, you need strong fullbacks. And as good as Zinchenko has been, he isn't a natural left back. And I think if we are going to win the Champions League, we need, like most teams have won it with like an Andy Cole, or like there's all, sorry, not Andy, what's his?
Ashley Cole.
Ashley Cole. Yeah, like they've won it with a very, very good left back, and we just, as good as Zinchenko is, he's not naturally a left back. So I think we do need one. I don't know who that's going to be. I know we were linked with Mendes from Sporting, but apparently we're not interested, so I don't know. But yeah, that's what I'd say. And then, I don't know, it depends who leaves, because a lot of people are saying they think Sterling or Bernardo or someone's going to leave. So we're kind of linked with Grealish at the moment. I would take Grealish personally, but I don't know. It depends who leaves. But yeah, I think Man City are close to being perfect, but it's like there's just a few positions where you think, because like even the left back, like obviously in that final, like Zinchenko was essentially at fault for the goal. And it's just like, does Ashley Cole do that in a final? I'm not so sure. So,
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. I agree with you 100%. I think if you guys get Kane, oh Lord, we could just forget about the league. Everybody wrap up the league. I'm just going to call it now. If Man City, I have it. So this is a hot take. I said a lot of hot takes. Some of them have been wrong. To be fair, I have some but most times I get my hot takes right. If Man City get Harry Kane, Premier League last season is sayonara. It's done. That's that one. I don't know what Champions League. Yeah. So let's go to Josh. Since you already talked, Josh, who do you want Manchester United to get? Positions, and so realistic. Let's not think we're going to get Sancho and Kane. Like realistic, just realistic positions and which players should we get?
Oh geez, it's a tough one, man. With United, obviously, to me, the most, like I've been saying it, the most important signing is a new coach. To me, that's the most important signing this summer. I know it's not going to happen.
That's fair. I agree.
That's not going to happen. But in terms of players, I don't think Sancho is going to change much, but it will be nice to have a natural right winger. a defensive midfielder will also be good too, because we can't sit through another McFred pivot again for the season. So if we can get maybe like, it's a tough one, man. I would like to go for. It probably between like Ndidi and what's his name, Declan Rice. Declan Rice, I really like Declan. So, but I don't know. I'm split between those two for for a defensive midfielder, and then I think we also need another center back. I know we're linked with Varane from Real Madrid right now. I'm not so sold on Varane, to be honest with you. I would rather go for someone who is strong. Like I think Koulibaly is kind of getting old there. He's getting older, but I would want somebody in that mold that is strong, is experienced. Because I think Varane, I like Varane. I like Varane, but I think he's
Sergio
it's kind of like
Ramos.
another Maguire again. I feel like he's just not going to be as strong for the EPL because it's one thing to do it for Real Madrid in Spain, but to do it in the Premiership against very strong, fast forwards, I don't know. I'm still questioned on that. So that's why I would rather go with somebody who can complement Maguire so that we're not getting another Maguire again, whereby they're lacking pace, they're not as strong, So if I don't know who as a center back would cover that apart from Koulibaly, but I think he'll be too expensive for us right now.
Okay, good point. Dio, I know Bayern do not need anybody. Should we just keep passing you? You guys don't need anybody.
Well, you guys
buy your players ahead of time. Actually, they have their summer within the season. That's when they took another team's coach. You took another like your best rivals defender. Like, what are you guys doing? What is that? What is all of this?
Yeah, well, actually, you know what? We lost players to Boateng is going after 10 years. Alaba is going. We lost a lot of experienced players, and we are hoping to replace them. First of all, I'm not convinced about Upamecano. I think they sold us a lower Meccano instead of an upper one. So the guy.
I've never heard that.
Wow. Good play.
Yeah.
Good play. Well played. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, the guy likes to carry the ball forward. He's a good ball playing center defender. But when it comes to actual defending, he gets embarrassed a lot. And, when you're playing in Bayern, I think Konate is better than him, bad injuries. He's just been more fortunate with injuries than Konate. So Konate was the better defender until he got injured. So I'm not very convinced about him, and that's a problem. So that leaves only Lucas Hernandez as our central defender. Flick did not want to play Lucas Hernandez, so we are actually losing our two central defenders, Alaba and Boateng, this season. So we also have a problem on our hand. Kingsley Coman is giving us the Alaba treatment. He wants 20 million. Nobody's going to pay him 20 million. So that's another player that's probably going to be gone very soon. We have a Lewandowski that's older, and we are renewing Choupo-Moting. That's not really an optimal. Thing to do. So we got Omar Richards from I think Reading as a backup left back. So I still think there's a chance Bayern might not do very well next season. I think Nagelsmann came a little too early, and if he doesn't get it right, that might be another Kovac season. So
you're going to win. You're going to win like 5 points, right? That's Bayern not doing well.
Or maybe winning with 2 points, or winning with 2 points, like we did with Kovac. So
2 points, okay,
yeah. I'm probably
Champions League.
I'm probably someone will spank us in the Champions League, like when Nagelsmann does the suicidal tactics in the Champions League and they just hand it to him. So it's probably going to be a little bit of a transition season for us, and
transition season. Okay.
Yeah,
I anticipate that. Yeah, I don't know.
We are not going to spend money too, because we are not going to spend money because of COVID. Everybody's making losses, so Unless you're able to sell someone, we are probably not going to buy someone expensive. So we'll be looking for someone that can come in at the same. Okay, we sell a 30 million, we buy a 30 million, or a free transfer. Maybe some of those.
Wait till Bayern Munich finds a way to sign Haaland.
No. Actually, I think Haaland won't go to Bayern. And I think since Inter is disintegrating, we can get some of the players there for a discount. Maybe someone like Perisic back, maybe someone like Brozovic. Perisic and Brozovic.
You would take Perisic back?
Yeah, I would take him as a.
You would take him back?
Yeah, we throwing Douglas Costa out like he's useless. So we can use Douglas Costa for and can go back to Brazil, and we can use Perisic to back up Coman. Then Brozovic can be the Goretzka backup. And also, if Wijnaldum is gonna come for, well, I don't know if Wijnaldum will want to come or he's gonna go to Barcelona, but
I thought because I
thought that was done already.
No, man. Apparently, PSG is about to hijack the deal. Like that guy's like
everybody wants Wijnaldum, and we can't.
That guy's a very intelligent
and free transfer too.
Like very intelligent midfielder.
The only thing I want to say is the challenge I see, apart from everything you've mentioned, is Nagelsmann managing those egos. He's a young man. He's 33. Those guys that have won, the Mullers, the Lewandowskis, are they going to really respect? When things get, are they going to look at him and respect him? And Nagelsmann, character-wise, is like Tuchel, right? He's very abrasive.
Yeah.
He doesn't take nonsense, So that's the only thing I worry how that is going to happen.
I think he came to Bayern a little too. I think he came to Bayern a little too early.
But don't you think Bayern Munich has a structure? Like Bayern Munich is literally the old man's club. You know what I mean? Like an institution.
Yeah.
So I'm not too worried with
we've always wanted Nagelsmann, and Nagelsmann was always going to coach Bayern because it's of all our coaches, is the only one from Bavaria. He's a local boy. So he was always going to coach Bayern. The only reason we moved early for him was because Flick decided to throw a tantrum and go away. So we had to get Nagelsmann, because if we lose Nagelsmann, it will go to a big club and it'll be hard to get him back.
And you paid a lot of money for him too.
That's the highest sign-on fee for a coach ever
for a coach.
In Europe.
Yeah. So if any senior player, like in Yoruba, as they say, Bimu, if any senior player raises his shoulder, they are cutting off that player, because I cannot imagine an institution like Bayern invest in a coach, right? Knowing fully well they got some senior players that like could cause a problem, right? And such an institution, they're going to back the coach. They'll
probably back Nagelsmann, because Nagelsmann, they'll back because we always wanted him. We believe in him, even if he doesn't deliver the first time. We believe he's going to deliver. So we are going to back Nagelsmann.
They actually signed him like a player. I forget that. That's true.
Because if this was PSG now, then I can tell you that
Leonardo will done. Leonardo signs coaches because
the culture is just different in both countries.
I agree. Let's end it because he just has already told us he wants to buy it.
I'm good.
You said it earlier. Dola, Mr. Ogakwame, let's end the stream with you. Which players, in your opinion, do you think we need to get our positions?
Coach.
Coach
Dola. I mean, you told us to be realistic. It is hard to be realistic when you have to bring players into a team that has a non-existent coaching team, because the players that you expect to bring into a team, they have to have some kind of structure with which they play. But with that being said, I know Ollie's not going anywhere for at least the next season. I think I want to see an end to the McFred experiment, and this is the reason why. This is the reason I want to see an end to that experiment. I want to see what other excuse Ollie has, what other excuse people will have on behalf of Ollie. Because every time we talk about him, we say, "Oh, McFred are no good. That's why he's playing the way he does." So I need one player that can do the jobs McTominay and Fred are doing. So I think Declan Rice is going to be way too expensive. I don't think we're going to get him. So I want Bissouma. I want Bissouma from Brighton. And I want Bissouma, and I want a center back. I know we talk about a right winger, and I agree that there is no presence in our right wing. But again, we have to be realistic. I do not see United doing three big transfers in this window. So
Absolutely.
as far as center back, I don't know. I really don't know who we can. There's such a shortage of really good center backs out there. But I think a good center back for us would be maybe what's that kid in PSG? Marquinhos.
I like Marquinhos. Yeah.
So if we get Bissouma and Marquinhos, I'm good.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's it. Okay.
Comment, please.
Oh yeah, the comments. Sorry. Let's get all the comments, and I'll see mine out because I already see Yannicka is already. She's already like, this is getting boring.
I'm drunk.
I'm joking. I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you. Don't worry. We'll be up in 5 minutes now. All right. Let me just take the last 3 comments. Many comments actually. Missing chances part of football. City without Fernandinho taking into account City player push up. There's absolutely no way he can prevent Chelsea from creating chances. That was the early comment. Sorry, Rame. But thanks for the comment. Thanks for the support. Rame says, Dio, I used to think Saleh Hamidji was actually probably not Flick. What was his role in Bayern anyway? I see him getting agitated in the technical area. Saleh Hamidji is what? Is he not the director of football? What is he? Dio? You're on mute. You're on mute. Dio, you're on mute.
Sorry, Salihamidzic is the sporting director, but it's actually the mole of Uli Hoeneß. Uli Hoeneß retired from Bayern, but he put his mold there so that he can. So Salihamidzic sits down beside Flick on the technical side, and when Flick wants to substitute, Salihamidzic gives his own input too. So that's how Bayern does. Yep.
Oh wow, that's serious.
So that's why it's gonna be tough for any coach that is not. So and last week, Rummenigge stepped down and he gave it to Oliver Kahn. So Oliver Kahn is kind of our president right now, and Salihamidzic is the sporting director, but the mouthpiece of Uli Hoeneß. So anybody, Uli Hoeneß does the unofficial yabbing people, insulting people, but Salihamidzic is the one that sits beside the coach to communicate to him that this is what management wants.
Wow.
Okay.
For example, we paid 50 million for Sane. He has to be on the field.
Okay, interesting. That's it. Ole probably stole Jola's girlfriend.
Listen, Oli does not have enough game. Oli does not have enough game to steal my girlfriend.
Pun intended.
Okay?
No pun intended.
Oli cannot even coach himself, let alone coach himself into talking to a woman. I'm surprised he got away.
Wow.
10 more years. 10 more years.
Stop it. These are legends. Stop it. I'm not going to take that from you. Onome says Bissouma looks decent and always come on the ball. Bissouma is a box-to-box, though. That's the one challenge I have. He's not really a holding guy. Kid Marquinhos. Yes, Marquinhos is not a kid. I was going to comment. Marquinhos is like 27 or something. Onome says thanks for the answer. Thanks for Dyer. So me quickly, I think the 3 players realistically, we have to get Sancho. This vibes, the vibes thing that Ole is on, right? And I'm not. This is not discrediting. When I mean vibes, is literally like putting players to go and do their thing. That's what he does, which is fine. That's his style, Get Sancho across the line. If you get Sancho on that right wing, our attack is going to fly. Sancho is a guy. He can lead counter attacks. He can break lines, dribble on the ball in transition. Get Sancho over the line. Get Sancho over the line. Get a CDM. The Ligue 1 has a lot of very good defensive midfielders there. Leo has one. Is this Sumari? Sumari is going to Leicester. They have one in Lyon. Is it Kakare? They have like guys who can play CDM. Good talent in Ligue 1 that will cost like 30 million. Go and get that. Then the last to get Koundé from Sevilla, whether it's 50 million, 60 million. That is the defender I want. Get Koundé to partner Maguire. And next season, we have a very, very good squad. Who?
Didn't Liverpool get Kunde already?
Nobody's.
No.
They
Who
got
did Liverpool
Upamecano.
get?
Liverpool got Konate.
Oh, Konate. Okay,
They got Konate. They got
from
Konate.
Leipzig. Okay.
Kunde, somebody from Ligue 1 that's a good CDM that's actually holding, that knows how to hold, and get Sancho. Get those three. Next season, I've told everybody that is here, non-negotiable. We have to win a trophy. I'm not listening to anything next season. Next season, we don't win a trophy. My next show, I'm coming to Ole Out banner. Like, we have to win. I'm not listening to anything next season. If we get those two players out of the line, I'm not listening to anything. We have to win a trophy. I don't care if it's Carabao Cup.
Let me disagree with you real quick. Just one quick point.
No, I didn't disagree with you. So I just disagree with me.
No. I just want to talk about your point when you said if Sancho comes in, there will be you're almost insinuating that there will be a dramatic change in the way we attack. The guy is still from the ball.
I think so. Because we have balance. We have balance. We can attack from the left and from the right. I think so. I honestly think so that our attack will be more balanced. Our attack is too concentrated on the left now, and teams can defend easily against us. And they just leave one side. Oh, one side. Okay, whatever. Daniel James, whatever. You cannot hurt us. Especially in the big games, our attack is too lopsided. It's too lopsided. It gives us balance. I think it will increase our weapons. Now, are we going to win the league? Most likely not. Let me put that out there. Are we going to win Champions League? Most likely not. I'll put that out there again. But I feel like we'll be so good that we will get closer. Let me just say that. We'll get closer. If we are healthy, we should get way more than 74 points. If most of the team is healthy. That's what I think. That's my opinion. And that's where I think we'll end the show. Because I think everybody's tired. I can see that everybody's faces. I know Jola is not tired, but Jola is like another body. You have to remove the batteries. I throw away the batteries. That's what I do with Jola. Jola, remove your batteries.
Rechargeable battery.
But no.
Rechargeable battery.
You have to remove the batteries and throw it away. Well, let me start with Yannicka. Thanks for coming on. I know you have to go out. Have personal stuff going on. I still have time to make it. Thank you for coming on. Appreciate it. Are you on mute? I can't hear you. Are you on mute?
No. So thank you. Thanks.
Oh, okay, sorry. Thanks for coming on. Josh, thanks for coming on. Dio, Jola, Ogakwame, part of the team, and Idris. Like, share, subscribe to the stream. Check out Yannicka. Zian City is a channel. She's also on Sarcasm City podcast. The links will be in the description. Thank you guys for coming, and we are out.